Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English 431. I really hope that you had a good spring break, that you were able to take some time off to spend time with loved ones and friends, maybe take a little bit of a rest. During this pandemic, which has been going on for more than a year now, we just celebrated the 1 year, maybe we didn't celebrate. We commemorated the 1 year anniversary of when a pandemic was really established in this country, and recognized as a real and ongoing issue. So I do hope that you got some time to reflect and to rest and maybe to get caught up as well. English 431, we have another half of the semester, much like the first. And what I want to go through is a couple of things that we should keep in mind as we turn our attention to the next paper and the next segment of readings. So I'll go through very quickly the website and a couple of things I'd like you to pay attention to. And then maybe in a later video, I will talk about the revision policy for your papers, what I'd really like to see in terms of revision, and how we finish up the semester with a reflection. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen with you. I'm always sharing desktop too. So here we are. This is the tentative schedule once again, and you'll see the video will go, of course, right here. And we jump back into the kind of the things that we've done before. This should not be new to you at this point. This should be relatively familiar. That is, by Wednesday of each week, you have a reading to do in Perusall, and the reading is available to you and it's ready to go. And we'll be doing what we did before. On Thursday or Friday, I hope that you attend your internship. There seems to be an internship. There seems to be a meeting of your workshop this week. And so your internship is going to be happening with the full crew. And then by Sunday, write up your field notes and upload them to Google Currents. Now, at some point, you might have started to wonder, like, what are these field notes good for? I'm hoping that in a number of ways, they filter into the writing that you do in your one-time assignments. That is, there are opportunities even within an observation of a writing center appointment in your being tutored paper to filter in different conclusions you've reached or analyses you've done about the times in which people are working with each other and what that means for collaboration, what it means for advancements in writing, for revision, for different kinds of attention to writing, and for talking about or thinking on, reflecting on writing processes. What's going to be essential in this next paper, though, is that you bring some of those conclusions forward. So I'll say very briefly that through week 8, 9, and 10, I'm going to ask you to not just attend your workshop, but to drop by another person's workshop. Now, this could be a workshop where there is no intern currently. Or it could be a workshop where there already is an intern. The goal of this next paper, and I'll just click over here very quickly so that you could see this, is that you are writing a paper much like your being tutored paper that offers a thick description of what you see there, which is laser focused on one of the 20 valued practices from Mark Hall's book, Around the Texts of Writing Center Work. Now, you notice in his title, Writing Center Work, the kinds of practices that he talks about here: setting reasonable expectations, addressing sentence level errors, target selected patterns of repeated problems, offering specific useful suggestions for revision, are really about a writing center appointment. But in all kinds of ways, I would say that these are a good place to start in terms of how we understand writing groups as well. That is, the nuance that we would provide is the difference between an experienced writing tutor working with a writer and a bunch of peers, all engaged in the process of writing, and all interested in different kinds of ways of reconceptualizing their writing in order to get a better grade, to advance their writing goals, to think more clearly about the subject matter that they're writing about. So what I would say in terms of this paper then is I would like you to familiarize yourself with what the assignment really does. But as much as possible, I would try to use this week and next to get with somebody in class or to message them in some way to say, hey, can I drop by your workshop either this Thursday or Friday or the next time a workshop is held. It's going to be a little tight. It's going to have to happen pretty quickly because you will notice that what we want to do with this paper is we want to turn it around rather quickly. You'll see week 10 studying writing groups, week 11, which is mid-April. I'm hoping you're going to submit a draft of your observation in Google Docs, and then we can start to wrap up the course. It's been an interesting semester. I was on sabbatical last semester, and so I was not teaching. I was observing other people teach. I was kind of passively, as I was doing my own writing, my research, I was doing different kinds of grants and other kinds of things. I was watching people struggle to figure out what students needed during this time. And I was hearing people talk about the challenges and the frustrations and some of the victories that they had last semester. So this is a course where we haven't done everything that we would normally do face-to-face. But what I think we have done is still important, and it's kind of laser focused. Again, the word laser focused, sorry. It's laser focused on how we relate to each other as human beings and how we work with each other on writing. And so the focus on humanity has played a large role in this version of the course in a way that it might not have played. I've tried to get to know you all through the writing that you've been doing, and the perusal has been going exceedingly well in my estimation. And I hope that you all are feeling comfortable as a community in this class. So we're going to continue that kind of work for the back half of the semester. These are papers in which I hope you offer as much detail as you possibly can and connections to what you're seeing in other spaces, connections to your field notes, connections to your readings in different kinds of ways. But they're not difficult papers to write, I don't believe. At least I don't find them to use the kind of analytical tools that one might use in a rhetoric course, which is also something that I teach. Instead, what we do is we try to conceptualize, once again, what it means to be a writer and a tutor or a mentor of writing in these different kinds of spaces. And so the focus, as it has been for any number of years, is on your role in developing a kind of an identity as a mentor and as a tutor and as a future mentor and tutor, which I hope you will honestly consider for the fall semester. And I'll be talking about that later on. For now, what I'd like to say then is make sure that you read over this assignment, and there's all kinds of things that you might learn in it. So for example, I say, please focus on one specific valued practice from this sheet. That is, you are going to write your paper about number 8 as it happened in someone else's writing group. Or you're going to write a paper about number 13 as it happened in one particular group. And what do you do with that? Well, you start to ask questions like I say here. If you pick, for example, number 11, create opportunities for the writer to demonstrate learning by talking, practicing writing strategies, and problem solving. Okay, what does that mean? Well, if we say that the purpose of a workshop groups is to facilitate learning on the part of the writer, then we might reasonably ask, okay, what do writers learn during workshop groups? If learning is doing, then what do you see the writer do that suggests learning? What do the mentors or students do to prompt or initiate that learning in the writer? Okay, so a paper in which you focus in different kinds of ways on one of these valued practices and talk about all of the things that you saw and reach conclusions about that is really what this paper is about. The great thing is you don't have to talk about everything that happened. You really need to just kind of move forward with this one specific valued practice as a way to hone in on what you see the demonstrable effects of that writing group actually are. What does that mean in short? Again, develop some field notes from your experience observing someone else's group that would enable you to reach well-founded and reasonable conclusions about the kinds of learning you imagine is going on. Now, you're doing this based on what you see happen, and that's one of the things that I try to talk about right here. Tutor and mentor education should be motivated by evidence. So the more that you draw on the things that actually occurred in that writing group, the better and more well-founded your conclusions are going to be. So going back to the tentative schedule then, by week 12, we are going to jump into reflection. We're going to think about what we know and have learned in this course. And we're going to think about maybe what questions remain for us. And that'll be something that'll be important for us to locate ourselves as reflective learners in this course. It's really one of the things that I want to hear from you all about. Not necessarily what you wish this course would have covered or what you feel it covered adequately, but more a focus on you, what you feel you've learned, what you've walked away with, and what questions remain for you in terms of writing, learning to write, in terms of online reading and writing instruction, asynchronous and synchronous, or in terms of your growth as a tutor and mentor in these programs. Okay, so I'm going to try to get this out to you as quickly as possible. I'm going to rush this video out to you. My backdrop this week is from Lake Tahoe. We went up there for a couple of days and we skied one day. We did some snowshoeing. Skiing was fun because my kids had never skied before, and my son, it was funny, he plowed into a tree. He didn't hurt himself, at least not too badly. Then he plowed into a slow sign, which was even funnier. He's giving me permission to talk about this. He thinks it's funny too. So anyway, I hope you all are doing well. Contact me if you have any questions and we'll go from there. Thank you.